job, people. We got. What? Yeah, I know. Well, will you remind me when we get closer? Okay.
It's the finance papers.
Council will come to order. All rise and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for a moment of silence in honor of our veterans, servicemen and women, and those who have given the ultimate sacrifice. Clerk will call the roll.
Anderson, Kamel, Condon, Crow, DeMaria, Linehan, Murphy, O'Malley, Spatafora, Winslow, Sika.
Here. Under the provisions of the open meeting law, for those of you in attendance, please be informed that MATV, along with John Mayara, is recording this evening's meeting. No Prisco? Okay. So just be aware there will be audio and video recording of this meeting. First order of business.
Captain Cronin will appear before the council to speak on preparation related to the coronavirus.
Hold on one second, Captain Cronin. Why isn't that working? None of these are working. Oh, geez. Can you try pressing the button on that? No, it's not working. Anybody know how to use this? That's not going to be good. I don't think that's it. I have a grid on this. I don't usually. I'm sorry. 1 second. Did I see A-Rod here? Oh, jeez. Do you have a loud indoor voice, Captain Cronin? You want to use one of those? Oh, I don't think I can even turn that on. Try that. It's just mine and the city clerk's working. Hold on.
Cholonzo just called in. Let's see if this works. Okay. Cholonzo just called me. Test it, sir.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we go. Hey, thank you.
Hi. Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Mine works.
They have old names though.
Okay.
Okay. No, that's fine. I'm not that crazy. I think I can handle it. All right. All right, great. Thank you. Sorry. Bye. Okay, bye. Oh, God. Who knew that was a process? Sorry. Okay. Captain Cronin, I
Okay to proceed?
apologize.
Not a problem.
We can hear you now.
All right. Good evening, council members. I want to thank Councilor DiMaria and Councilor Winslow for inviting myself and Director Webb here to give you an update on where we are with the coronavirus. I'm going to speak primarily about emergency management in general and how it intersects with the coronavirus, and then I'm going to speak to you about my role as the Emergency Management Director. Just to give you a little background on the Emergency Management team, it consists of 6 members. Our Communications Director, Mr. Ron Cochran, represents the Mayor's Office. The Board of Health is represented by Director Chris Webb. Public School System is represented by Mr. Peter Dolan. The Malden Fire Department is represented by Chief Bill Sullivan. The DPW is represented by Director Bob Knox. And last but not least, myself representing Emergency Management. We meet on the 3rd Wednesday of every month at the Malden Police Department Community Room. The meetings are held at 4 p.m. and by the way, they are open to the public, and I do encourage public participation in the meetings. Not to bore you, but I do want to just give you a background on emergency management, on core principles that are universal throughout emergency management. And these are mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery. In the context of an infectious disease, such as the coronavirus, mitigation efforts consist of getting the message out to the community on what they can do to prevent themselves and their families from contracting in or spreading the coronavirus. All of our prevention measures are guided by the CDC, the Mass Department of Public Health, and our own local Board of Health. Second phase is preparedness, and I know what has the Malden Emergency Management Team done to prepare for a situation like this? I can tell you in the very recent past, we've participated in 3 tabletop exercises with our regional partners in emergency management, Region 3 Health and Medical Coordinating Coalitions, EMS, police departments, and fire departments. These exercises utilize an all-hazards approach to training, which means we train for a wide variety of hazards. It can be man-made or natural. And this virus, of course, will probably entail quarantines, isolations, and potentially, and I don't think we'll get to this point, mass vaccinations. The third phase is the response phase. And right now in Malden, we are still in a prevention mode. If and when we have confirmed cases of the coronavirus here, we would then go into a containment mode. If it becomes officially a pandemic and we have positive cases of COVID-19 here that are widespread. After consultation with the mayor's office, the emergency management team, and essential city departments, we would initiate the National Incident Management System by way of the Incident Command System, which is commonly known as ICS. Just so you know, ICS is a standardized on-scene emergency management system that is adaptable and scalable from the smallest events all the way up to large, complex events that would involve multiple agencies, multiple disciplines, and multiple jurisdictions. It's basically an overall management tool for your resources, equipment, and personnel. It's my personal opinion that we will never reach that point. I hope that we don't, but we do have to be prepared in case it does. At that point, I would open up an emergency operations center at the police station, and it would work in conjunction with a joint operations center, which would be our local and regional partners, including the state. And the last phase of emergency management is the recovery phase. This is often the most overlooked phase of emergency management. Many times the response phase bleeds into the recovery phase. Examples of recovery efforts include preventing and or reducing future outbreaks from lessons that we learned from this current outbreak. It can also be a continuation of our response activities. And lastly, and most importantly in this phase, it involves providing state and federal partners with health reports and statistics from our own local issues. So those are the 4 phases of emergency management. And now I'm just going to talk very briefly about my role as the Emergency Management Director. Most importantly, my job is to keep the community safe and healthy by maintaining primary services to the city, such as police, fire, EMS, Board of Health, and the DPW, just to name a few. It's just basic services that one would expect to receive even in the face of a crisis. And this leads me to a very important issue, and that is continuity of operations within our city government. Each mission-critical department in our city has a line of succession that ensures that someone will always be in charge. The mayor's office, payroll, police, fire, Board of Health, DPW all have standard operating procedures that outline these lines of succession. Its purpose is to ensure that essential functions of city government continue on unhindered. It addresses transfer authority when key personnel are unavailable to do their jobs. I will be sending out a continuity of operations checklist to essential city departments by Friday. These checklists will help familiarize departments with information that will be needed for continuity of operation plans. And one last thing on my way here, Ron Cochran had called me to let me know that starting today on the city's website under alerts, he's going to post pertinent information, critical information regarding the coronavirus. So it's not going to be every day, but every time something does come up, it'll be in chronological order, starting with today. Today will be the first one with the governor's declaration of a state of emergency. So in closing, we can't predict the path of COVID-19 here in Malden, but we have trained and we are prepared for it. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions if I can, and if I can't, I will get the answer for you.
Thank you. Councilor Murphy.
Thank you, Madam President. Welcome, Captain Cronin, and thank you for
Thank
coming
you.
before us. Could you just repeat, if you wouldn't mind, the folks who are on the emergency management team?
Certainly. Ron Cochran, Chris Webb, Peter Dolan, Chief Bill Sullivan, Bob Knox, and myself.
One of the, I mean, I have many concerns about, obviously, you know, what we're facing. Hopefully we gain control of this throughout the country and, you know, it doesn't expand much further. But as a senior, I hear, listening to the news, you know, so many concerns about our senior population and their susceptibility to this virus, whether they're healthy or especially if they're not healthy. So one of my questions concerns the amount of senior housing we have within our community. And I was just wondering what type of outreach there has been to Steve Finn through the Malden Housing Authority to make sure that our senior population really has the information that they need to protect themselves. I know, obviously, I'm sure there's probably some communication being done here in the senior center, but not all of our seniors are have access to a computer or are computer savvy to see an alert on the city website. So I have, you know, personal high level of concern for everyone in the community, but especially our senior population after what we saw in the life care facility. And when you look at the amount of seniors in our multi-story buildings throughout the city that are always in close contact with each other. So I just don't know if that's been addressed at all.
Well, I believe that the Department of Public Health has reached out to all senior care facilities to make recommendations as far as having hand sanitizer as soon as you walk into the complex, to wash your hands when you're going in and wash your hands when you're actually leaving. But Director Webb might be able to answer that question better than I.
We have daily conversations, Mr. Finn and myself. He has documents that are prepared specifically for housing developments like his own, all of them. So they just came out this afternoon. He had them. He actually sent it to me before I could send it to him. So he had started to disperse that, but he was training staff first, and then he's going to start talking to the seniors in the building. They're going to put up some signage that we've approved, and they'll get more and more information as soon as he gets it all in the walls, basically. I think that's what his hope is, and slide some under doors as well.
And, you know, where we do have a senior center, obviously, I'm assuming that, you know, sanitary, you know, that our group in this place is, you know, from a sanitary perspective being very well taken care of. But do you think it would be prudent to maybe hold a few classes here for our senior population to really, you know, talk to them about what they can do, maybe allay some of the I know just as myself as a senior, I'm nervous. Okay, but you know, maybe allay some of their fears, what they would do if they needed food or medicine or, you know, or something happened in there. I'm not sure the level of information that's getting to the seniors, but what would happen if someone in the building, you know, was exposed, and how that would work for everyone's life.
Okay, I'll tell you how that process works. Firstly, we were going to do something today at lunch. I was going to come over and talk with whatever seniors were here. There weren't any. No one wanted to be here. So right now, most seniors are taking the right tact, and that's social distancing and staying home. And while there's no one here, they'll be better for it. If someone were to come, be diagnosed presumptively before the CDC verifies it, what happens is that physician will report that to the state. The state will then turn that information back to us through a system called Malden, which we monitor all day long. And we would then do outreach to that person, make sure that they understand what the isolation requirements are, and if they need any services, they tell us what they are. We make sure they get them.
And I guess lastly, we don't have any presumptive cases in Malden. Is that a correct statement?
It could change by tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, there's one case that actually was tested. All others have been diagnosed. This one is tested. The test result won't be available till tomorrow.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Councilor Winslow.
Yeah, Kevin, thanks.
Sir?
You mentioned your tabletop exercises, you know, related to counter emergency questions. Did those involve representatives from like Malden Housing? Do they have kind of incident response people that will be getting involved?
No, Malden Housing wasn't involved in those.
Okay. And I know one of the other things I'm hearing in the community is, I mean, one of the things about Malden is we have many, you know, homes that are multi-generational. So, I mean, our senior buildings have folks of one thing, but I think there's concern that, you know, multi-generation kids to grandparents, that's just something I'm hearing as a concern in our community about how to address that. So in your planning, it's just something to take into account that, I mean, it may be harder to do social isolation in those type of instances. So,
right.
Just something. And in terms of, I know some communities, some school closures I know universities are closing. At what point and under kind of what direction might a school closure or quarantine be considered, and you know, how would that
Well,
process
I mean, I can look at a local case we just had in Arlington.
Yeah.
I believe they're going to close that school to clean it 2 days, and then right back to school. So it'd be on a case-by-case basis. I would imagine if we were overwhelmed and we had a surge, of course, we would be closing that school or schools and, sterilizing them. But we haven't got to that point yet, but we can watch our local communities and see how they react to it and how they handle it. And most of them are receiving their guidance from their own boards of health and the Department of Public Health for guidance.
Are we getting any direction from the State Board of Health to do more intensive cleaning, or are we?
Yes, and Superintendent O'Teary has sent out, I believe, several letters to parents explaining what the school has done as far as sterilization, constantly cleaning hard surfaces, doorknobs, all high-touch surfaces, bathrooms, door handles, constantly.
So, and then, just, I know you're talking about kind of the continuity planning. I know I did send along, I mean, one of the things, we're part of the team here, and I know one of the things I pointed out is that there is, under open meeting law, there is a way for people to if you have to be quarantined, you could participate remotely. So I guess I wasn't certain if our city has adopted that part of the open meeting law. So I guess that's one of the things we should probably consider very quickly. That way counselors, and this could actually expand to any board or commission that's necessary. I mean, I think the council is probably some part of that. I know, having worked in some emergency things, I mean, a lot of times there's a lot of discretion given to emergency responders to do what they got to do in emergencies, but if we have to participate as a council, and some of us are quarantined, I mean, I think at Norwood, I think a lot of their town there went to a party, and so there's an issue there. So that's something that we should do. It's 940 CMR 29.10, which would allow the council and members of other boards to participate remotely. And as far as I know, Malden has not adopted that, so it's one of the things we could do to make sure that we as a council.
We can look at that from our side. Yeah, absolutely. We'll look at that.
Yeah, so that's just one of the things. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Linehan.
Thank you, Madam President. My question's actually almost directly related to what Councilor Winslow is raising, but more for the city staff side. So I'm wondering what's the protocol, in addition to what you outlined, which is really comforting to hear in terms of succession of responsibility. What would happen if there was a presumptive positive or a situation where a large quantity or maybe department of the city staff needed to work from home? I know my understanding is that that's not commonly done by the very nature of the jobs that most public-facing staff do. But have we tested sort of our remote work capacity, both in terms of software licenses or load, and do we have a protocol for people who may be asked to work from home that work for the city?
No, not at this point, but I can tell you tomorrow we're going to have all the department heads back together, and we're going to sort of give them a mini tabletop training exercise, and that's going to be part of it. We're going to give them, an example like we have right now with the coronavirus, an infectious disease. What would happen if so-and-so, if A gets sick, who takes over? Is it B, is it C? So we're going to be having every department in the city actually look in their own departments, and we'll give them different scenarios. And, but that issue you brought up has not been addressed.
Okay. But I ask because I'm sort of worried about financial implications of people that work.
I did talk to Anthony. I have that capability. All right. So I was just informed that he has that capability. So you want to?
Not probably the only one, but I do.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll work on that.
Thanks. Thank you, Councilor Linehan. Councilor DeMaria.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Captain Cronin, for coming, because in times of crisis, we do need our experts. And Corona now has been around a little over 10 weeks, and we've watched it evolve. And I'm really, really happy to hear that we'll be using our website, our city website, and the continuity plan, which is like the protocol. Did I write that down?
Yes, it outlines a line of succession. It ensures that someone is always in charge of the department, particularly the essential departments in the city.
Yep, that's great. The other thing is, do we have a plan for sanitizing City Hall and our parking department? And I know the schools have something in place, but are we boosting up our,
I believe City Hall's also taken direction from the Department of Public Health and Director Webb's office on that.
Eric Rubin's doing, his staff is doing cleaning each day and each night.
extra cleaning?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. And just a thought that if we do need to get some sort of correspondence out to those, to Councilor Murphy's point, to those seniors that are not online, we can always use our water bills. So that's also another avenue to think of if we need to communicate.
Yep, that's something we'll look into right away.
All right. And again, thank you very much for coming. I know we booked you, Councilor Winslow and myself booked you like 3 weeks ago,
No,
so we're in a state of emergency.
I've been waiting with bated breath to get here.
Thank you, Captain.
All right, you're welcome.
Thank you. Councilor O'Malley.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you. I echo the sentiments of my colleagues for coming tonight. So say I don't feel well. I have symptoms that could be the flu, they could be coronavirus, it could be anything. What do I do?
Stay home and call your healthcare provider and take their guidance. Don't go out and especially don't go on public transportation. Don't get someone to go with you. Just call your local health provider and seek their guidance.
Okay. Now, is there anyone local, like, so maybe I don't have a doctor. Maybe I'm uninsured. Maybe I am international and I'm just here for a temporary amount of time while I'm going to school in Boston. Is there a local number that they should call to let us know?
Yeah, they could call the health department.
The health department? Okay. And I probably should ask Chris what that number is.
781-397-7049.
So again, if you are out there and you feel like you may have traveled to the area that it is currently rampant in, or if you've been traveling and you feel under the weather, you're concerned about it, please call the Board of Health at 781-397-7040.
7049.
Sorry, 7049, my apologies. Now, what about residents that might not speak English and they are dealing with this? Do we have resources that are translated in other languages to help them? Because I always find it strange that these type of public health emergencies fall on local boards of health rather than organizations like Mass General. Not that you're not qualified to handle it. It's just I don't think the general public realizes how much responsibility a local board of health has to controlling infectious diseases.
True. Thankfully, the state has just passed a bill yesterday that will fund more training, more equipment for local boards of health. So that's exciting news for us. It's something we've been fighting for a long time. This has brought it to the forefront, thankfully, but it's the way the system works sometimes. I do have some numbers for you from Malden if you're interested in hearing them, so that people know how much work the health department is doing. We've had 47 cases in isolation since this started. Right now, there's 36 of those have completed a 14-day isolation period with no symptoms and no one's progressed with disease. We have 10 remaining, and right as of today, there are no symptoms of those 10 people. We have one person who's symptomatic after return from Japan. They had their test, the actual test done today. We'll get that result back tomorrow. So that doesn't feel like it's going to be a case, but err on the side of caution.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Spatafora.
Thank you, Madam President. Great questions, and not to be repetitive, thank you for coming.
Welcome.
Unfortunately, this visit wasn't with this intention, but it is. A couple things. Speaking of, in my world we call it, business and contingency plans. We have to have, a certain amount of people have to be able to work from home, and I know the capability here is limited, so maybe this is a good way to start looking at that exercise for the city, given a lot of people are starting to work from home. My question is particularly on city employees being infected. What happens if the fire station gets infected, where they all live together, and the police department, because you guys are first responders, so you're going into homes, you could you could transmit it, go back to your office. The police, at least, they're on the street, but the fire department, you could have a central station that would come out of service. So
Right.
is there a plan for that?
Well,
know
I
it's
talked
a
with
worst
Chief
case-
Sullivan.
I know it's a worst-case scenario.
Yeah, I talked with Chief Sullivan just this afternoon several times. The biggest part of that is prevention.
Yep.
So they prepare themselves before they typically go into something with that in mind.
Yep.
Just the way that they perform their jobs, they're always in the same building. The chances of, if just one person gets it, I mean, you could have up to 40% of the fire department not showing up to work.
Yep.
So if that did happen, I mean, I'm sure there would be a limited response. I can speak only for the police on that side right now. If it did happen at our station, we would have to sort of limit our services if we were running short on help. Certain calls we probably wouldn't respond to. Of course, we'd respond to any crime calls, anybody who needs help, and things like that, but we would limit the amount of calls. And I'm sort of glad that the governor called for a state of emergency today, because that does give the state the ability to request equipment that we so desperately need from the National Strategic Stockpile. So that's going to be a welcome gift for us.
Yeah, that's great. So that was my other question, Captain, in terms of what, I called you Captain, I didn't mean to say that. In terms of what happens in state of emergency, so we have now access to materials and probably some funding mechanism as well as equipment, which is great.
Right.
Two questions left. One is, everybody's talking about access to testing, and it might be a Board of Health question. Is that
Yeah.
going to be something we're going to have? I know I've heard national level, there's not enough testing. I know it's supposed to come out, 2 million of these tests should be available. If somebody in the public wanted to get tested, is those tests available to the Board of Health, or should they go to their primary care physician or a CVS or whatever the case might be?
Because there is a limited amount. Right now, there's about 2,000 kits in the state.
That's it.
Yeah, but there'll be more. There'll be more coming. They also opened another lab was accredited yesterday, so they'll be taking it in, so the turnover should be in 24 hours. The national stockpile will help with that, only in so much as money. But the way it reports is, if you go to your doctor and you're ill, the doctor reports you with a communicable disease to the state.
Yep.
The state then puts it in the MAVEN system and it comes back to us. This is a process we do every day. I mean, we have TB cases, we have meningitis cases, you name it, we get it. So this is not a new process for us, and the process we're using is what we've trained on for years. And it's working really well. So we've had great feedback from the people in isolation, because they know they can trust us. If they need something, we're going to come and get it for them. It's funny, but I really thought it would be harder, honestly. Our people have been very responsive, very, very responsive.
It's good to know.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. And the last question, from a planning perspective, it's great we have access to public transportation, but we have two major, I would say, hubs within Malden for the Orange Line, which we have thousands of people go through. I know it's probably not in our jurisdiction, but they are in our backyard. Is there any special training we do where if somebody gets infected there, do we containment zone? I mean, what happens there? Because, Oak Grove and Malden serve not just Malden, they serve all the way north and west and east.
Right. I can't speak for the MBTA, but I can tell you that they have stepped up their cleaning process, and I believe they're doing it every 4 hours on the MBTA now. I don't think we'd get to that point with someone pulls into Malden Center Station. It would be kind of, the circumstances would be weird. There's a guy in the train and he's sweating, so we're going to cordon off the area, shut the train, close the third rail, shut it down, but I don't think we would get to that point. If it did, we would coordinate with the MBTA police right away and evacuate the area. We've actually done that before and worked with the T doing that, so it would not be an issue.
Great. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. No other questions. Thank you so much for
Thank you
coming.
very much.
Next order of business. Yep.
Public hearing, National Grid, petition National Grid Exchange Street, Middlesex Street, Malden, Mass.
Good evening.
Good evening, councillors. My name is Moses Okokuro. I'm here on behalf of National Grid Electric side. So this is regarding a petition to install one 3-inch conduit from an existing manhole at the intersection of Middlesex Streets and Exchange Street towards 46 Pleasant Street. This is for the purpose of serving a city-owned streetlight cabinet. Thank you.
Okay. Is this Councilor now? Councilor Winslow.
Yeah, unfortunately, Councilor O'Malley had to go to the, he was going to the Community Preservation Committee, but he did say before he left that he's supportive of this. I believe this is in connection with the Exchange Street project, so this is a street light installation. So this is just adding the conduit that's necessary to go forward with that project and have the pedestrian scale street lights that are all part of the Mass DOT project. So he indicated support. I would certainly indicate my support for this. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, with that being said, I declare the public hearing open. Anyone wishing to speak in favor of this petition, please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Anyone wish to speak in favor? Hearing none and seeing none, I declare the portion of that hearing closed. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition of this petition, please come forward and state your name and address for the record. Anyone wish to speak in opposition to this petition? Hearing none, seeing none, I declare that portion of the hearing closed. On Councilor Winslow's motion to grant this petition, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? The petition is granted. Next order of business. Thank you.
Approval of the minutes from the meeting from January 28th, 2020, February 4th, 2020, February 11th, 2020, February 18th, 2020, and February 25th, 2020.
Councilor Winslow's motion to approve the minutes. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The minutes have been approved. Next order of business.
Under appointments and elections,
Yeah, they're all getting referred. Yeah, that's fine.
okay, appointments and elections, paper 89-20, mayoral appointment, Jean Voltaire, 500 Broadway, apartment number 2114, Malden, is a member of the Register of Voter Board, said term to commence upon his confirmation by the City Council and to expire on March 31st, 2023. Paper 90-20, mayoral appointment, Diego Barrichelli, 33 Glen Street, Malden, Mass., is a member of the Public Works Commission, said term to commence upon his confirmation by the City Council and to expire on March 1st, 2023. Paper 91-20, mayoral reappointment, Henry Susi, 107 Kimball Street, Malden, to the Planning Board, said term to commence upon his confirmation by the City Council and to expire March 1st, 2025. Paper 92-20, mayoral reappointment, Kenneth Antonucci, 14 Spruce Street, Malden, as a member of the Planning Board, said term to commence upon his confirmation by the City Council and to expire on March 1st, 2025.
Councilor Crowe.
Refer to appointments of personnel.
Councilor Crowe's motion to refer these appointments to appointments and personnel. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? The appointments have been referred. Next order of business.
Still under appointments and election, paper 98-20, council appointment, Don Macklin, 36 Dartmouth Street, Malden, Mass., as the Chamber of Commerce member to the Human Rights and Fair Housing Commission.
This is not being referred. Okay. It's actually, if I can explain, that we met with Ms. Macklin, and as we would filling the positions on the Human Rights and Fair Housing, and so as we confirmed 2 members last week, then we had a conversation with I had a conversation with the Chamber of Commerce, because there was somebody that needs to be from the Chamber of Commerce. So after that meeting, actually the committee had decided that we really liked Dawn on there as well, and the Chamber of Commerce, Joan Ford Monju, has agreed, and so the Dawn Macklin will be filling the Chamber of Commerce member on the Fair Housing and Human Rights and Fair Housing Commission. So I make that motion that we confirm this appointment.
Councilor Crowe's motion to confirm this appointment. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The appointment has been confirmed. Next order of business.
Paper 93-20, livery license Roman Kerm, Arco Group LLC, 150 Sylvan Street, Malden, 3 cars. It's a new license.
Councilor Crow's motion to refer this license to, Councilor Murphy. Councilor Murphy's motion to refer this petition to license. All those in favor? All those opposed? The petition has been referred. Next order of business.
Paper 94-20, order that the sum of $80,000 be and the same is hereby transferred from salary reserve to human resource professional services.
Councilor Condon's motion to refer this matter to finance. All those in favor? All those opposed? The matter is referred. Next order of business.
Paper 95-20, order that the sum of $40,317.25 be here and the same hereby transferred from revenue reserve to public facilities city hall lease.
Councilor Condon's motion to refer the matter to finance. All those in favor? All those opposed? The matter is referred. Next order of business.
Under enrolled ordinances, paper 384-19, ordinance, chapter 3 of the building regulations. Be it hereby ordained that section 3.37 of the revised ordinances of 2020 as amended be further amended to require notice by posting with the city clerk and by mail to all property owners of land located within 500 feet of the property lines of the subject property for demolition permits, and further amend chapter 6 licensing ordinance. Be it hereby ordained that section 6.49 of the revised ordinances of 2020 as amended be further amended to require notice by posting with the city clerk and by mail to all property owners of land located within 500 feet of the property lines of the installation for all small cell petitions.
Councilor Spatafora's motion to ordain the ordinance as amended. The clerk will call the roll.
Anderson. Kamel. Condon.
Yes.
Crow.
Yes.
DeMaria. Linehan. Murphy. O'Malley. Spatafora. Winslow. Seeker.
Yes. The matter is ordained. Next order of business.
Paper 466-19, ordinance, be it hereby ordained that Chapter 6 of the revised ordinances of 2020 be amended by adding provisions for shared neighborhood autos for passengers, SNAPs.
Councilor Winslow.
Yeah, I just want to make a note before we take the vote on ordaining here is that I did receive a comment back from Attorney Rossetti and just a couple comments of looking to have inspections and insurance requirements. That could be something that could be added. I think it's something that actually could be added through the licensing process. So I think we could go ahead and enroll this and either include these in the licensing process or make a further amendment. What?
We already enrolled this.
And that's what I say we enrolled so before we ordain it. So that's just, I wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. These are just some additional comments. I mean, by state law, every vehicle has to be inspected. It's not doing anything that, any vehicle has to be inspected, so this is a requirement. Every vehicle has to be insured, so this would just be something that could be handled by the licensing process. It wasn't something we directly handled in the ordinance, but that was a comment that, Solicitor Rossetti made. So I just want to make sure people know that. I mean, we could vote to suspend the rules and incorporate those, or we could enroll and then amend it. So that'd be. So ordain. So we could ordain and then amend later. So I just want to let people know. My recommendation would be to proceed to ordain, and I think we can proceed. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Murphy.
I guess what just struck me, councilors, just all the work we've gone through on the dealer's license and updating our ordinances to make sure that all the requirements were included. So I'm a little uncomfortable as to whether or not we need to have that in the ordinance before we put this forward if it's a requirement. You're saying it's required, everything that is everything that Attorney Rossetti requested required by the state? Is it very specific in that respect?
I mean, I responded to his question. He basically said, you know, he talked about adding insurance and inspection requirements, and basically he said that they should have the insurance required by the state and the inspection done annually by the state. So we weren't adding anything in this ordinance over and above what is already required. We actually had some discussion in rules and ordinance about inspections, because there was a special city inspection that the sealer of weights and measures was after doing, and that's, I guess, for taxis, but we don't even know if that really happened. So the thought is the state already requires every vehicle to be inspected and have an inspection sticker. So this would just be duplicative of what's required by state law. So, I mean, often we don't, so that would, he made those comments. I don't know if those are the type of things that have been added into the ordinance, but like I said.
Yeah, I mean, if you want the license committee to be responsible for following up on these things, I think it should be part of the ordinance so that it's documented somewhere that that's the responsibility of that committee. But, I mean, I don't have a problem ordaining it as long as you don't have a problem us going back in the next couple of weeks and looking at that and coming back to the table with an amendment if it needs to be made.
I'd be willing to do that, just to make sure we make that. So, but
Okay.
I just feel we could go forward, and that way we can get some things going into traffic commission next week as well. So
Yeah, no, I think we can resolve it pretty
Yeah,
quickly, but
yeah,
I'd just
good.
like the opportunity to make
Okay.
sure that it's
Sure. All right.
there's clarity is around
Okay,
it.
sure.
So.
No, all right, I will
Thank
do
you.
that. Right, thank you. Good.
Great, thank you. Councilor O'Malley.
I would just like to second Councilor Winslow's motion to ordain.
Okay. On Councilor Winslow's motion to ordain the ordinance as amended, the clerk will call the roll.
Condon. Crow. DeMaria. Linehan. Murphy. O'Malley. Spatafora. Winslow. Seeker.
Yes. Next order of business.
Papers 96-20, committee report, personnel appointment. Paper 54-20, mayoral appointment, Catherine Price, 30 Tuff Street, Malden, as a member of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund Board.
Councilor Crow's motion to receive the committee report. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The committee report is received. Councilor Crow for the committee.
Thank you, Madam President. So last week, I think it was, we met with Ms. Price, and she is going to represent residents that actually either qualify for or have benefited from affordable housing on the Affordable Housing Trust. And she was actually quite nervous, but I think she brought a lot to the table. She's a mother of 4, and she talked a lot about having to find housing when you have a voucher, and the difficulty to find housing when you have 4 kids, just 2 older and 2 younger, but really just some of the struggles that they have seen, or she has seen. And you know, she does a lot of work in the community with the Bread of Life, and I think that, you know, just talking to some of the other people about what their concerns were around affordable housing, she'll bring really a lot to the table. So make a motion that we confirm Catherine Price to the Affordable Housing Trust Board.
Councilor Crow's motion to confirm this appointment. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The appointment has been confirmed. Next order of business.
Paper 97-20 and the committee reports, petitions. Paper number 3720, livery, Ruby Lynn Transportation, 259 Mountain Ave, Malden, 1-car renewal. Paper 38-20, livery, Arminda Singh, 27 Alpine Street, apartment number 3, Malden, 1-car renewal. Paper 39-20, livery license, David Ulyss, 230 Bryant Street, number 3, Malden, 1-car renewal. Paper 55-20, livery LSI Transportation, 47 Second Street, Malden, two cars only, renewal. Paper 56-20, livery Prime Limo Service, 1 Maple Street, 1-car renewal. Paper 57-20, Taxi Malden Trans Inc., 290 Eastern Ave, 39 renewal. Paper 452-19, pool tables, L&K Billiards, 94B Pleasant Street, Malden, 7 tables, it's new. Paper number 10-20, extended hours, 7-Eleven, 169 Salem Street, Malden, renewal. Paper number 12-20, extended hours, Speedway, number 2504, 214 Broadway, Malden, 24/7, renewal. Paper 40-20, extended hours, Walgreens, 185 Center Street, renewal. Paper 41-20, fortune teller, Angie Marks, 495 Broadway, Malden, renewal. Paper 40, well, we'll take the other two.
Not yet. Councilor Murphy's motion to receive the committee report. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The committee report is received. Councilor Murphy for the committee.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm going to kind of take these in sections. We actually have the first five, papers 37, 38, 39, 55, and 56 are all livery services. And those, our compliance officer has gone out and confirmed that they have parking for their vehicles, off-street parking. They were voted out of, referred out of committee unanimously, and we would ask that the council here tonight grant those petitions.
Councilor Murphy's motion to grant these petitions. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The petitions have been granted. Next order of business.
Following in a similar line, but a little bit different, but still driving people through our communities, is Malden Taxi. This is a long-term renewal that we do not have any problems with. Everything is in order with all the documentation they need, and this was referred out of committee unanimously, and I would ask that the council grant that petition.
On Councilor Murphy's motion to grant these petitions, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The petitions have been granted. Next order of business.
452-19 is pool tables for L&K Billiards, which is a brand-new enterprise being opened in 94B Pleasant Street, where the entrance is actually on Exchange Street. The committee met with the owner. We talked about his business model, and we all felt comfortable granting him this license. We would ask that, once again, the council look favorably upon this. It was a unanimous vote, and that we grant the petition.
On Councilor Murphy's motion to grant this petition, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The
Okay.
petition has been granted. Next order of business.
The next three is 1020, 1220, and 4020. Those are all extended hours. Each year when we look at extended hours, we go back, we look at police reports, we make sure that there's no incidents or incidents that would cause us any type of a concern in granting any of these extended hours. These all came up favorably. Once again, the three of them were reported out of committee, the petitions were reported out of committee favorably, and the committee would ask that the full council approve these petitions. Yes.
Councilor Winslow.
So the Walgreens petition is for 24/7?
Yes.
Renewal. All right, thank
Yeah.
you.
Oh, yes. Missing a little for there. Yes.
Councilor Murphy's motion to grant these petitions, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The petitions have been granted. Next order of business.
The next one is 4120, which is the fortune teller up in 495 Broadway. Once again, this is a renewal. There have been no issues up there. We have no complaints, and it was referred out unanimously, and we would ask that the council approve it.
Councilor Murphy's motion to grant this petition, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The petition has been granted. Next order of business.
Paper 451-19, L&K extended hours denied.
Councilor Murphy's motion to receive the committee report, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Councilor Murphy for the committee.
The committee denied this request. The request was to stay, for this new pool hall to stay open in Malden Square until 2:30 a.m. of the afternoon. Our city ordinance, there actually is an ordinance that determines the latest time a pool hall can stay open, and that is 11:45 p.m. So based on the fact that our ordinance is set at 11:45 p.m., we denied the 2:30 request, and I will say, really, there was no one who was in favor of it. If we could have done it, there was no one sitting at the table that was in favor of it. Even with our liquor licenses, although we do have some that are grandfathered until 2 a.m., they've been, all new ones are rolled back to 1 a.m., so 2:30 was out of the question for us.
But due to the fact that our city ordinance was set at 11:45 p.m., the applicant basically withdrew, his request. But it came out of denial because it had been submitted to us. So but he understood what happened, and he was fine with it for the moment, so.
On Councilor Murphy's motion to deny this petition, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The petition has been denied. Next order of business.
Paper 382-19, second-hand or pawnbroker, Briley's Jewelry, 366 Ferry Street, Canal.
On Councilor Murphy's motion to receive the committee report, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The committee report is received. Councilor Murphy for the committee.
This is one of those instances where the particular location that the gentleman wants to open a business is in Residence A, and the business, there has not been a business there in the past 2 years. So by ordinance, we could not approve any type of a license for him because the time, if you're in Residence A, a business can continue operating in perpetuity, but once it closes down for a period of more than 2 years, the entire property reverts to Residence A, which is a Residence A is an area where businesses is not allowed. So that was the reason for the denial.
On Councilor Murphy's motion to deny this petition, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The petition has been denied. Next order of business is docket is clear. Councilor Winslow for personal privilege.
I am working on the list for the annual spring cleanup, so I've talked to some counselors, but I was just going to hand that along, and the first one I'm talking about is March 28th, so I'll pass this along, and if you haven't gotten to me with the date yet, I will send that to me, or we can talk, and then I will work with Ron Cochran to get this listed up on the city website. So the schedule's filling up, and looking forward to getting the city cleaned up and in order. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you. Since I see no other lights, I just want to let everyone know to just make sure you please check your packets before next Tuesday's meeting. I have a little packet in here for next Tuesday night's meeting for everybody to take a peek at, just so they can be aware of everything that's going on for next Tuesday, okay? Do I have a motion to adjourn? Oh, Councilor Crowe. On Councilor Crowe's motion to adjourn, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Good night.